I thought I wasn't going to come on then. Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to this special episode of Magnificent Mondays on a Wednesday, because it's the 45th anniversary of the release of The Empire Strikes Back. I know everybody says it was released on May the 20th. No, it had its world premiere in London on May the 20th, but it went on wide release on May the 21st. It also had a couple of previews earlier on in May. Don't worry about them. But yes, so Empire Strikes Back, widely accepted to be the best of the Star Wars movies. I would agree with that, but it's not my favourite. I think the original Star Wars is still my favourite. But anyway, we're going to look at that tonight. But before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. Right, we should be live on YouTube. Yes, we are. We should be live on Rumble. Yes, we are. And we should be live on Twitch. Yes, we are live on Twitch as well. Right, all right, and explore the description for links for stuff such as merch, my books, which are under there, Amazon Kindle and paperback, links for my websites, mercuryrapids.co.uk, mercuryrapids.com, theoldyorkshiregeek.co.uk, and other stuff. What else? My Spotify and Amazon and all that. Links, just have a look, have a rummage about in the description. Or you can become a member, and then you'll get early access to some videos and exclusive videos and stuff like that. And throw us a super chat or a super thanks would be greatly appreciated. Right, Wingray says, not Caravan of Courage, shocking. I don't mind them Ewoks films, to be honest. I think they're all right. And technically, they are theatrical movies in the UK, because they're released theatrically. I know they're classed as TV movies, but they're released theatrically in the UK. And you can watch them on Disney Plus in HD, which is cool. Right, so Empire Strikes Back, a little film, a little independent movie that had a budget of $30 million. Box office was between 500 and 600 million, so it did all right. Not quite as good as the first one, but it did all right. I suppose everybody's seen the all the documentaries about it that tell us how the troubled time getting the studio. The studio wanted to shut the film down because it was going over budget and all that stuff, and the bank were foreclosing on the loans and all that stuff. But it got made and was a smash hit and went on to become, as I said, probably the best of the Star Wars movies. Directed by Irving Kershner. Well, I think one of George Lucas's tutors when he were at film school, if I do remember rightly. Screenplay by Lee Brackett. I think she passed away, didn't she, during the writing of the film, and Lawrence Kasdan stepped in and finished it off. Obviously from a story by George Lucas. This is the last film that Gary Kurtz acted as a producer on a Star Wars film. They fell out after this. I think during the development of Return of the Jedi. They fell out. And you can tell in the quality of the films. Stars the usual gang: Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, David Prowse, Peter Mayhew, Frank Oz, Sir Alec Guinness, and new to the gang, Billy D. Williams, the great Billy D. Williams. Obviously a great score by John Williams. Where is it? There we go. Got it on CD. I haven't got this one on vinyl for some weird reason. I haven't got the soundtrack. But I was looking today actually on eBay. They're a bit priced. Why vinyl? Particularly second-hand vinyl albums, so expensive these days. It's infuriating. I blame COVID, because everybody bought record players at during COVID, didn't they? Wingray says, I hope this helps bring more eyes to this forgotten gem. It's a sarcastic bugger, isn't it? He is. But anyway, and there's my DVD of the movie. This one is the DVD that comes with on the bonus disc inside the original theatrical release. Why is it all skewed? Let's put it straight there. The original theatrical release. It doesn't say that, it just says bonus disc, but that's what's on there, which is what we're going to watch. I know I said on Monday we'd do the special edition, and then I thought, no, because I've actually written in the description already that we're watching the the theatrical edition. So that's what we're going to watch. Obviously, I've got the Blu-rays as well, but they're obviously all the special editions on them. I do have the VHSs, but they're over there somewhere. They're behind loads of other stuff, and I wish I'd gotten them all out. But anyway, the original VHS releases. But anyway, never mind. And I've got the book as well. I remember reading the book when I was a kid, back in 1980. The book came out before the film, so I knew what happened. I knew the big shock. I knew the big shock of the film before I actually saw the film, which was kind of cool. So that's kind of a version of Qui-Gon's Noble End, in it, but in the book. Anyway, right, so we'll get on with it. We're not going to watch the film, obviously. We're going to go through it in a series of stills, and I'll try and just talk our way through it and try and remember all the stuff that everybody knows about this film. I'll just reiterate it more than likely. Right, so I shall pop myself down in the corner. I still haven't done a yellow border. I've got to leave that there, haven't I? Never mind, I keep forgetting. Now, where are we? That one? Yeah, that one will do. Right, and I shall full screen this and then add it to the screen, and we'll get on with it, shall we? I'm sure I've forgotten something. Never mind. Right, off we go. Are we going to come on? Is it coming on? Hello. There we go. This is, as I said, the original theatrical version, not the special edition, so we're getting the old 20th Century Fox pre-CG logo, which is kind of cool. And we're also going to get, there we go, the old, gone too far, the old Lucasfilm logo, when he had no money, and it was just a green text on a black background. Anyway, there, off we go. Hang on. Long time, where is it? There it is. Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Off we go. Star Wars. Hang on, where is it? There we go. All that stuff, right? And this is the first time that we saw an episode number. Episode 5. The Empire Strikes Back. There it is. So, as I said, before this, we didn't see... It was Star Wars, wasn't it, before? It was episode 4. It was just Star Wars. And I don't think they stuck the episode 4 on until, was it 1981, I think? When they re-released Star Wars, episode, which became known as episode 4, A New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back, as a double bill. Because I remember going to see him at the local pictures, this double bill. And I think it was Empire. It was a really dirty film that they used loads of scratches and dust and all sorts on it. Were terrible. But anyway, so it's the first episode. Oh, episode 5. What's he talking about? So it's where we're learning that apparently 3 years have passed. I don't know if it's ever is it said in any of the books or proper canon that 3 years have passed. I don't know. But anyway, the rebels have been driven from Yavin. And they've ended up on the ice world of Hoth, which is hot with a H at the end of it. So is there a really hot planet called Cold somewhere? I don't know. But anyway. And Darth Vader, obsessed with finding young Skywalker. How does he know? It's Luke Skywalker? I mean, I know he sensed him. The Force is strong in this one, but as word got out that it was young Luke Skywalker that destroyed the Death Star, I don't know. Maybe it did. Maybe the rebellion just said, our brave pilot, Luke Skywalker, did all this cool stuff. Windgrace says, like Greenland and Iceland, I get it, it's poetry. Yes, Greenland is very not green, is it? And Iceland is very volcanary. But anyway. Right, off we go. And then we go the good old pan down. I remember going back to the Phantom Menace the other day. Wingray says, why am I yellow today? Because it's Star Wars with Star Wars yellow today. Yes, the same theme colour, yes. I remembered this time. I was saying, Phantom Menace. I remember watching that the other day with the audio commentary from George Lucas, and he was saying all the films begin with a pan down. That's the way I start all of them with a pan down, and then the very next film, Attack of the Clones, he did a pan up, didn't he? He's a bugger, isn't he? Anyway, we pan down to a Star Destroyer, which is releasing probe droids, and it's cool. Look, here they go. It is cool. With great music from John Williams. Even though it's very subdued, is this music, but for some reason it gives me the chills. We're going to have a quick listen. So you can't hear them for all that noise. There we go. Whatever. That was loud, wasn't it? I wasn't expecting that. Anyway, we're focusing on one probe droid, or one probe, that heads to, just gets to Hoth really quick. I'm guessing there's a passage of time. Unless they weren't near Hoth, were they? Because the fleet's miles away, isn't it? In another system, I imagine. But anyway, it arrives at Hoth. I've never seen it destroy a star. It doesn't mean it destroys stars. Anyway, so it's like there's star cruisers and star destroyers, isn't there? And then whatever's above them. What's Vader's ship? Which we're going to see in this. What is that classed as? I can't remember. Oh, it's a command ship, isn't it? Anyway, right. So here it is, arriving at Hoth, and arriving with a bang. Cool. And right, so and off it goes. Starcraft carrier. If you say so, I don't know. Right, so anyway, so here comes the Imperial probe droid. Cool design, and off it goes. And a bit of stop motion. Lots of stop motion in this film compared to the others. Got old Phil Tippett in to do the stop motion. And it is really, really good. Because remember, this were made... sorry, a hair. This were made, obviously, long before CG... Photo quality CG were a thing. So it's stop motion, puppets and stuff. And all the better for it, in my opinion. Mid-lid work clothes. There we go. Right, so anyway, off it goes. In search of the rebels. And then we zoomed out. I really like this. This is, what filmmaking's all about for me. It's really good. We're moving down over a landscape, a snowy landscape, onto a tauntaun running across. It's obviously stop motion shot, but of a tiny little creature that they've got to, animate one frame at a time on the thing that you can barely see as we move down on it. Cool stuff. And then another bit of stop motion there. And this is this is Luke on his tauntaun. There he is. There's Mark Hamill after his car crash back in a couple of years earlier or whatever. He'd had a pretty nasty car crash and he got some like facial injuries and all that. So I thought, well, what can we do? What can we do to explain why his face looks a bit different? So they had him attacked in a minute by a wamper. But first, he sees the probe droid arrive. I love that. Sees the probe droid arrive, and he doesn't see it through his macro binoculars, though, unfortunately. Sorry, I'm just looking. Oh, they're just numbers, aren't they? I'm just looking to see if they decided if they were using Aurebesh. Because I think the first time we saw, is it Aurebesh? Something like that, isn't it? But in Return of the Jedi, wasn't it? They just put like numbers up there, haven't they? Anyway, so there we go. So he sees that, so he's going to check it out. He gets on his radio to Han, who is there, who's they've been out putting markers or whatever, sensors, and he's heading back to base now. They're on the Tauntauns, which are, what they call them, snow lizards or whatever they call it, something like that. A creature native to Hoth. And there they are. Again, cool animatronics that they're using. But here comes the Wamper. Here it is. Hey, steady on, girl. What's the matter? Then the Wamper arrives. Hang on. Gets Luke. There we go. Knocks him off there. There we go. Injured face. And he also gets the Wamper as well. Not Wamper, the Tauntaun. And drags Luke off. And there was actually footage of it dragging him off. Of a man in a Wamper suit. But it kept falling over and they couldn't get it right. So, but never mind. So we just got glimpses of it, and here it is dragging him off. And here comes Han arriving at the base. It's more cool, stop motion, and all that. And to do this, actually before they put that on, they had a fella run down with a big cardboard cutout of a wampa. I keep on a wampa of a tauntaun. So that's what they did for the scale and all that. But anyway, so you see all the rebels hard at work with the snow speeders. Are the speeders or are the... Because they do seem to actually fly. They're not like hovering, are they? You know, like Luke's land speeder. They're more like hoppers, aren't they? Like Luke had his sky hopper on Tatooine, didn't he? They're more like that than speeders, really, aren't they? But anyway, whatever. They call them snow speeders, but they're not actually. They're just regular speeders because they're saying they're having trouble adapting them to the cold. So anyway... But they call them snow speeders for want of a better term. There's the Falcon and an X-wing, and Chewie's there working on the Falcon, and he gets cross. There we go. Gets cross with Han. There he is getting cross. He says, "All right, I'll come back in a minute." So he goes in and reports to General Riken, who's played by Bruce Bower. There he is, Bruce Bower. Who only other thing I can remember seeing him in, he's been in lots of stuff, but the only thing that springs to mind, I think he played a general in that as well in Octopussy. He was in Octopussy. You know the end of Octopussy where James Bond's trying to track down a nuclear bomb in that circus and he gets dressed up as a bloody clown. Bruce Bower's there as one of the American generals. I think he was one of these American actors that lived in Britain. So you've got like Bruce Bower and who else was there at the time? And that played Parkins, William Hawkins, and Shane Rimmer, although he's Canadian. But he had all these American or Canadian actors living in Britain at the time that always got cast in these films. Because they were filmed mostly in England, at Elstree. I think the only locations were filmed in Norway, weren't they? I will get the exact locations, which was in a minute. And oh God Almighty, Hardangerjokelen Glacier in Finns, Norway. So, but everywhere else were at Elstree, and obviously the special effects were done at ILM in California. Right. So anyway, there's General Riken. He's telling him he's done his job, and now he's got to sod off as Han because he's got a bounty on his head. Remember, from Jabba the Hutt, so he's got to go pay that off. He's asking about Commander Skywalker. And it says at the beginning, a small group of rebels led by Luke Skywalker, but he's not, is he? They're not led. General Riken's in charge, isn't he? But, Luke's an officer there, but he's not in charge, is he? I imagine he has respect. But I wonder what that button does. He's going to press it. Anyway. Saying, he's checking out a meteor that landed near him or impacted near him, and he says, with all the meteor activity in this system, it's going to be difficult to spot approaching ships, remember that. And it's also cool that there is a lot of meteor activity because Hoth is really close to an asteroid field. But we don't know that yet until, we get to it in a bit. That explains all the meteor activity, doesn't it? All these asteroids that are zipping about. Anywho, there we go. So I don't want to see him go, but, death mark's not an easy thing to live with. So off he goes. And he goes to Leia, says, "Right, Your Highness, I guess this is it." And she says, "Yeah, that's right." So he says, "Don't get all mushy and see ya." And so she runs out after him. And this is where he's trying to... Han is obviously has feelings for her, and he's trying to get her to reciprocate, but she's not doing. And, he's saying, "Han, we need you. Where are you going?" Apparently, they ran into a bounty hunter on Ord Mantell, and so he's got to leave. He says, "We need you." He says, "What about you?" "Me? You don't know what you're talking about." He says, "No, you probably don't." So he's trying to get it out of her. She loves him, but we'd find out by the end of the film that she does. He says, "I'd sooner kiss a Wookiee. I can arrange that." He says, "She should have said something else, shouldn't she?" Anyway, so here's R2 and 3PO, and 3PO's berating R2 because he turned on the heater in the princess's quarters, because obviously they're in an ice cavern that's been hollowed out. And now he's basically melted it all, it seems, as R2. Because all the clothes are wet through. But anyway, she's wondering where Luke's got to. Nobody's heard from Luke. I'm guessing for a while now, a few hours. So Han's going to go and look for him. And we're going to see... hang on, where are we? Hang on. We're going to see a Tauntaun here. Oh, there we go. As we pan by, we see somebody... Men struggling with a Tauntaun there, which I think is wearing jeans. I think there's a fella underneath operating it, isn't there? But never mind. So, there you go. You see jeans there. Anyway, so he's talking to the officers. I'm confused. I don't remember any of these characters from the one we saw Monday. No, because they're not in. Apart from Vader. He's the only one into that's in it. From the others. Anyway, so he's... what's the medical droid doing there? I don't know, but anyway. So he's going to go out on a Tauntaun, and they say, you can't, the temperature's dropping too quickly, and all that stuff. So he says, then I'll see you in hell. So religion is a thing. Christian, whatever, Judeo-Christian religion is a thing in the Star Wars universe, because he says, I'll see you in hell. Anyway, there you go. So off he goes. And then we have a panning shot, and not a panning, an establishing shot of where Luke is. He's in the Wampa's cave. And there he is. How did the Wampa get him up there? I have no idea. Because he wakes up, as we'll see, and he looks up at his... We hear the Wampa roaring. This is one of the scenes that I think was actually improved by the special edition. We see the Wampa a bit more in this. But anyway, he looks up at his feet, and he's been melted into the... So did the Wampa hold him up and like go... And the Wampa got really hot breath or something and melt the ice and just stick him in and then it froze over. I don't know. But it did something, didn't it? Or maybe it's some kind of secreted resin. I don't know. But secreted from what? Anyway, right, so he's going to try and reach for his lightsaber now. And this is the first time we see the Force used to make things come to you. I think it is. I don't think we saw that in A New Hope, did we? We saw someone using the Force to predict the shots of the training drone thing, didn't we? And also to help fire his proton torpedoes in the Death Star and for Obi-Wan to talk to him. I don't think we'd ever seen the Force be used and to influence other people. But I don't think we ever saw the Force be used to make objects move, for telekinesis. I don't think. But anyway, we see it here. In fact, I remember in Splinter of the Mind's Eye, which would, if Star Wars hadn't done as well as it had, would have been the sequel movie, Splinter of the Mind's Eye. They come across a Force user on Mimban. I can't remember her name, this woman. And but she's not very powerful, and it's not very powerful, and she makes something move a little bit, like some salt and pepper shakers. She makes them like move a little bit, and he says Luke inwardly was really impressed. So, but anyway, apparently they could do even better than that. No, pronounce it like Shat knew. Pronounce what? See, I've said something again that I've forgotten. That I don't know what I've said. Anyway. Right, so it's going to make this appear. But here comes the Wampa. We see it starting to move. Look, it's jiggling a bit. But here comes the Wampa. Any second now. Well, every time I skip forward, it's cutting to that. But shows the Wampa. There it is. Here's the Wampa coming. In the trailer for this, the old 1979 trailer for this, there's a cool shot of the Wampa with its arm and its claws there that isn't actually in the film. I don't think it is. Unless it was just a quick glimpse. There we go, he gets that. We see the Wampa. There he falls down. The Wampa rushes at him. There we go, like that. A shot similar to that, but more spooky. I'm going to see if I can find it, actually. Oh, no, I think I've deleted it now. I did some tidying up on my hard drives today. Telekinesis. That's how telekinesis is how Richard Johnson pronounces it in no relation. Pronounces it in The Haunting. Oh, I've got a tickly nose. I think it's cat hairs. I think she's shedding his princess, and I'm all tickly. Anyway, and if my eyes look weird and I'm a bit blinky or whatever, I've got my new glasses, my new lenses in my glasses, and I'm a bit freaked out by them at the moment. But anyway, I'm trying to think if I've still got that video. Just bear with me. I'm going to have a root about. So let me remove that a minute. Just look at that for a second while I look in here. It'll be in. Find the bugger. I'm looking for Magnificent Mondays. I mean, Magnificent Mondays folder. There it is. So just bear with me. Bear with me while I find it. Shut up! Why are you muted? Anyway, right. I'll find it and it'll be rubbish. Or it'll be obscured by a big, massive, Magnificent Mondays logo. Oh, there we go. There we go. Found it. There we go. Let me go back a little bit. Right, so I will just full screen that for a minute. I don't know why they didn't use this shot in the film. Why did they use that? It's cool, isn't it? You know, the big clawed hand coming for Luke. It looks cool, and they didn't use it in the film, unfortunately. But anyway. Right. Back to the flick. So, Luke deals with the Wampa. He chops its arm off. Here we go. Just goes, and its arm comes off. Where does it show it? Thunk. 'Cause everybody gets an arm or a hand or something chopped off, don't they, in Star Wars? Trying to think now. Right, so let's go through them one at a time. In episode 1, who gets a hand? Who gets a limb chopped off? Well, he gets chopped in half, doesn't he? There's Darth Maul in episode 1. Does that count? And various droids get bits chopped off, don't they? Episode 2, Anakin gets his arm chopped off, doesn't he? In episode 2. Episode 3, Anakin again gets everything chopped off, doesn't he? Episode 4, it's Ponda Baba and the other fella, Dr. Everson, in the cantina. In this one, it's the Wampa and Luke. Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. It's Vader, isn't it? He loses a hand in that. What about the sequel? Does the same happen in the sequels? In Force Awakens, I forgot his name. The fella from Jakku that handed out the rations, who were voiced by Simon Pegg. He was supposed to get his arms ripped off by Chewbacca in Maz Kanata's palace, but they cut that bit out. I think they did film it though, but they cut that bit out. So does that count? Are there any others? I can't remember. Whatever, don't care about the sequels. Right, anyway, back to the film. Anyway, so there we go. He runs off. In the special edition, though, we get a nice shot of the Wampa going, oh, no, with one arm. And then if you watch Robot Chicken, you see the poor Wampa trying to get work and stuff like that. They did the similar thing with Ponda Baba, didn't they? Oh, no, he sees him, doesn't he? He's driving his car, or his space car, is the Wampa. And he sees Luke at a gas station. I think it's from a film. I think it's an homage for the film, like a satire. But anyway. Right, so anyway, runs out into the snowstorm, which were actually filmed in an actual snowstorm from the hotel doorway, apparently. According to Irving Kershner. They sent Mark Hamill out. They could have just sent out a stuntman, couldn't they? But never mind. They sent Mark Hamill out, and he just rolled about in the snow for a bit while they were all, in the words of Irving Kershner, toasty warm in the hotel doorway. But so that's how they did that. And off he goes into the misty mist. But here comes Han to save him on his Tauntaun, having a good old look around. Has he got a sensor thing? You know, we saw a sensor thing. Oh, we do in a minute, don't we? It stops it, doesn't it? And he gets off. Not yet. But not yet. Also, R2's scanning the area, but with no luck. And Luke flakes out. There we go. It's collapsing. It's all cold. Blooming number. Han arrives. I think he gets off his tauntaun here. There we go. And he gets out his scanning device. There we go. So he's checking on it while the tauntaun has a look round. Cool. Stop motion. I love stop motion. I do. I love stop motion stuff. Windgrace asks, did you ever play the SNES version of these movies? No, I never had a SNES. I never had a SNES. When I was a kid, I'm going to go through my video game history now. When I was a kid, 8 years old-ish, mid-70s, we got one of those, I think it was, in the UK it was called a grandstand TV game, that's what it was called. One of them where you play Pong, basically, or it came with a rifle where you could not shoot little dots that went across the screen. We had one of those, and then we didn't have anything else. Oh no, I'm lying. Then in the early 80s, I had a ZX Spectrum computer. I never had a console though, I had a ZX Spectrum computer. I did have Texas Instruments computer, but didn't keep it. Sent it back to the catalogue, got a ZX Spectrum instead. But then after that, I left school and all that stuff, and got married and had a kid, and didn't have time for like anything apart from being married and having a kid. Lost track with everything, music, games, films. Pretty much lost track with everything, and dealt with that. But briefly, we did have a Master System, a Sega Master System. But I don't know what happened to that. She probably sold it. I don't know. But and that was it until something like 1998 or something like that. And I got a PlayStation 1. So that's really when my gaming reawakening happened, when I got a PlayStation 1. Anyway, Windrush says, I loved them, but they were way too hard. Old games, the old SNES and Mega Drive games and all that were really, really hard, weren't they? I think they were. Harder than games now. Games go easy on you these days, which is fine by me. I don't want games to be too hard. I play games to relax, not to be screaming. But anyway. Right, so it's scanning, looking for Luke. Meanwhile, Leia's all worried. And they said, we've got to close the shield doors, these doors here. We know it's a little mistake in a minute. But hang on. Windgrace says, I had a NES briefly as a kid, and my dad couldn't figure out how to hook it up, so it disappeared. We just found it in the closet when cleaning up. Oh, right. But you mean recently, or back then in the day? Anyway, I guess I missed out. You'd been playing Mario on a NES, wouldn't you? Super Mario? I don't know. Or Mario Brothers, wasn't it? And then it was Super. I don't know, because I never played them. I played Alex Kidd on that Master System because it was built in, and I can't remember anything else that we played because we couldn't afford any cartridges for it. Oh dear. It was probably given to us, probably, that Master System that we had. I don't know what they're called in America. Sega Master System, because we had Sega Master System and Sega Mega Drive. But in America it was the Sega Genesis, wasn't it? But I don't know what the Master System was. No, it disappeared for 30 years. Is it still around somewhere? Look in that closet. Anyway, right, so they said, it might be all right, we just don't know, because R2's range is, don't give up all hope. And then he says, chances of survival are whatever. Does he say here? No, it says it in a minute. So we've got to close the shield doors. And there's Chewie, not being very happy. Have you noticed, by the way, in the original trilogy, and I think also in the sequel trilogy when he appeared in Revenge of the Sith, wasn't it? You never see 3PO's fingers. I'm talking about 3PO. You never see Chewie's fingers until we see him in the sequel trilogy, don't we? We see his fingers then, but until then we never see him. They're always hidden buy all this fur and stuff. It's probably going to make a liar of me now. Anyway, so here we go. Hang on, that's not it. Let's see the doors starting to close. There we go. They're starting to close. Look there, where 3PO is. And then he says, "Okay, close the doors." Oh, chance of survival 725 to 1. But then the doors start to close again. Turn it off. It's rubbish. 725 to 1. There's always real enough statistics in this film. Anyway, he bellows, does Chewie. Hang on, where are we? Where's Chewie? Bellowing with a Klingon bellow. Like that. And then we do an iris to see Luke flaked out in the snow with, it looks like he's got frostbite, really bad frostbite or something, doesn't he? Anyway, with Luke, and then a familiar face appears. There we go. Alec Guinness. You must go to the Dagobah system. What? Where? There you will learn from Yoda, the Jedi Master who instructed me, as well as Qui-Gon Jinn, and, well, but never mind that. Anyway, so there we go. So he's got to go. He goes, Ben! And then Ben turns into... Ben disappears and becomes Han. Says, Luke, don't die on me. And then his Tauntaun dies, so they must have good coats. Not the Tauntauns, the people, because they're all right. But the Tauntaun dies. Maybe they should have put a coat on it. Wingris says, have they replaced this with Ewan in any edition yet? I wouldn't be surprised. If George was still in charge, maybe he would have done. You never know, do you? You never know. Anyway, Tauntaun dies. So he drags Luke over, and I think the first time we see a non-Jedi or whatever. No, technically Luke's not a Jedi yet, but you know what I mean. Non-Force user using a lightsaber. He gets out the lightsaber, cuts open the Tauntaun guts. Cuts it open. I'm guessing he scoops it all out as well. It doesn't show that. And sticks Luke in there. And all I can think of is Robot Chicken. I hate that show. When he cuts it open and this fella comes out and says, "Hey, get your own Tauntaun." I should have had loads of clips ready, shouldn't I? But never mind. Anyway, so he shoves Luke in there to keep Luke warm. He says, I thought he smelled bad on the outside. And then he builds a shelter. Why didn't he just get in as well? Sod the shelter. But anyway. Right, and then we cut to Rogue Squad. Technically it's Rogue Group, innit? It's not Rogue Squad, it's Rogue Group. They're out looking for Han and Luke. The plate for this is in Norway somewhere. All very nice and all that stuff. Right. Anyway, we'll be focusing on. Is he Hobby? There's two, and I can never remember which ones they are. No, he's not Hobby. Hobby's another one, isn't he? Which one's he then? Bear with me. I'm going to find out. I always get him and Hobby mixed up. Does it begin with J, something like that? I can't remember. I'm going to have to go to all cast and crew, aren't I? By the way, Des Webb played the snow creature. That's what it says on IMDb. Is he Zev? Is Zev in it? Not. Oh no, is he Jan? No, Jansen, somebody else. Is Zev in it? As Rogue 2. Christopher Malcolm is the name of the actor. Yeah. So that's Zev. Not the Zev from Lex. I think she was called Zev, wasn't she? Played by two different actresses, but both were really attractive. But anyway, I haven't seen Lex for a while. But anyway, never mind. So here he is, out looking in his snow speeder. I think you can see. Like I said, being the theatrical version, you can probably see through the canopy a little bit. I don't know. It's not too bad, does it? Looks all right. Looks all right. Never mind. One of the things with the special editions, because special effects, being as they were at the time, it were hard for them to basically, chroma key out the blue screen. So you'd get some. The foreground becomes like semi-transparent. You could see through it sometimes. But that don't look too bad. Which they fixed in the special editions. Anyway, so he finds them. Anyway, there we go. We found them. There they are. That's probably not Harrison Ford. Some extra. I don't know. But anyways, Luke is... where is he? Hang on, they've arrived back, look. And Luke's in his Bacta tank. This is where we're introduced to Bacta. That's 21B, the medical droid. And I think in the book and the comic, I think the droid says, the Bacta are growing well. Ew. But... anyway, here he is. And apparently, Mark Hamill, can't say almost died. Irving Kershner said that in the commentaries. He almost died, but he didn't because he wasn't in there. They were setting up this tank for him to get into, and they were already in his underplugs, ready to get in. 21B, oh, not 21B. It's better than the original Klingon, though, isn't it? They were getting ready to get in this tank, which had filled up with, water or whatever, and had this bright light. See that bright light shining down? It had that on, and apparently it was a big piece of glass or something separating the light from the water. And just before they were about to get in, it just all came crashing down. The glass just shattered, and Irving Kershner said if it had been in there, Mark Hamill, it might have killed him because it was a huge, thick piece of glass that could come down and skewered him. So they were lucky there. But in the Bacta tank, so it'd been fine. It had just grown back, wouldn't it? But never mind. Anyway, here he's been fixed. And they're all watching him in his undies, saying, Luke's in his undies. Anyway, so he's not in there for very long. So, but anyway, see him back. There he is. Good to see you, looking well. And so they'll have a bit of awkwardness coming up now because Han's saying that, she fancies me, but she don't want to tell anybody. And he's saying, she says, don't worry, get your delusions, laser brain, and chewing guffaws. And she calls him a scruffy-looking nerf herder. I said, scruffy looking? There you go. My nickname, by the way, the pub. When he used to go to the pub, before all that marriage stuff happened. My nickname was Nerf. Some people, if I see some people, from the pub in town or whatever, I still get called Nerf. Because I was called Stevie Nerfle. That was my nickname. Apparently, one of my pub friends had a daughter, and she had these little figures, and they were called Nerfle figures, and one of them were called Stevie. So they called me Stevie Nerfle. Anyway, that's by the by. Anyway, right, so now she's going to kiss Luke now to make Han jealous. Hang on, here she comes. Hang on, missed it, gone too far. There we go, proper full-on, tongues in, probably. Bit awkward. Obviously, George hadn't made up his mind at this point that they were going to be brother and sister. Or maybe he had, and he's just a colossal pervert. I don't know. But anyway, it's Hollywood, isn't it? So anyway, off they go. Right, we've got a visitor. This is where the probe droid has found them, maybe. Or it's found something. It's found like an outpost or something, hasn't it? I think in the book, in the novelisation, it does actually find a manned outpost and takes it out, doesn't it? I think it does. I think it's something like that. But we don't see that here. You just see it that it's seen something. So they're going to go check it out. Here it is. It's sending a signal. Beep, bap, beep, bap, beep, bap, beep. 3PO says, he's fluent in more than 6 million forms of communication, apparently. And it's not it must be an Imperial code. There it goes. It's seen them. It's a power thing, isn't it, or something? I don't know, whatever. It's seen them. And then he kisses his sister. It's like poetry. I don't think that means what you think it does, George. It's like poetry. I wish I could do a George Lucas impression. But I'm afraid I'm not Rich Evans. Is his name, isn't it? Anyway. Right, so, anyway, here we go. So they come across it. There you go, Chewie's out there. He's fine, look, with his fur. He's not a big girl like a Tauntaun dying. Anyway, it takes a pot shot at him. Poor Chewie, acted as bait. Han shoots at it, and it just blows up. Shoots it twice, and it blows up. Thinks it's probably had a self-destruct. It's realised it's been rumbled, so it's blown itself up. So they said, right, the Empire probably knows we're here. So he says, we better start the evacuation. And then, in a minute, here we go. The Imperial March, which everybody associates, with the Empire, but we didn't hear it until this film. So there we go. So anyway, see all these Star Destroyers, but there's something bigger lurking, casting a shadow upon. Shut up! Casting a shadow upon them. There's TIE fighters flying about. Look, what could be casting a shadow on these huge Imperial Star Destroyers? An even bigger bloody Star Destroyer. That's what. This is Darth Vader's command ship. Apparently, though, there are a lot of command ships we learn in Return of the Jedi, which kind of dilutes the the importance of this. But anyway, I think described in the book as it looks like a cityscape in space or something. But is it called the Executor or the Executioner? I'm not sure which. But anyway. But Wingrace says, it's a battle star. I think a battle star is probably about the same size as a Star Destroyer, isn't it? I think, supposedly. About a mile long, aren't they? Ish. That's what it says in the... I remember it saying in the Battlestar Galactica bump, back in 1978. A mile-long spaceship, whatever. They're about that, aren't they? They're about a mile long, 1.5 kilometres. I'm sure there's 1,500 metres. I'm sure that's how long Star Destroyers are, aren't they? Anyway, whatever. But anyway, this is Darth Vader's command ship. It's like an aircraft carrier with its, support fleet sort of thing, isn't it? Anyway, there he is, looking out, watching all the action. And here we're going to meet Admiral Ozzel. Here he is. Flanked by General Veers, played by Julian Glover. Admiral Ozzel's played by, I've forgotten his name. Where's Admiral Ozzel? Michael Sheard, of course, Michael Sheard. Most famous in the UK for being in Grange Hill. He played the headmaster of Grange Hill, which was a kids' school drama series in the late 70s, early 80s. Anyway, so he played the headmaster of Grange Hill. And I was like, I forgot his name. I forgot the name of his character. I'm going to have to look it up now because I'm wondering what the name of his character was. Oh, I know. Also in Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade, he played Hitler. He played Hitler. Anyway. Right, come on, where are you? Which way am I going? Am I going backwards or forwards? Backwards. Grange Hill, where are you? Grange Hill. Where the hell is it? Have I gone past it? It's not that early, is it? It was in Beasts as well. Nigel Neal's Beasts. Oh, I've got that on DVD. Where's Grange Hill disappeared to? Lost in Space 1999. Come on, Grange Hill went out in 1975. Have I just missed it? Or was it later than I thought? It's not there, is it? Oh, there we go. Mr. Bronson, of course. Mr. Bronson. That's what we played. Right. God, I'm glad I've cleared that up. Anyway, right. So, Captain Piet calls him over. There he is, Captain Piet, played by Kenneth Colley, who got an autograph of at a convention. And he looked very sad. Because nobody were getting autographs from him. And I thought, it's Admiral Piet. Or Captain Piet as he is now. And there was nobody in his line, so I went and got an autograph. I had to got 2 autographs off him, one for me and one for my son. But he didn't seem very bothered, and he wouldn't. I said, could you put to Steve? And he didn't. He just put Ken Colley on me, scribbled on. He seemed a bit fed up. Charged me a tenner, which was really cheap. I thought, Has he not done this before? But anyway, whatever. So I've got Ken Collins' autograph. What I'm going to say something else. I can't remember. Oh, right, we're also in Firefox, which we've also covered on Magnificent Mondays. He played the Russian colonel or whatever he is. The thick Russian accent. But anyway, he's in that as well. Anyway, right, so they found something on Hoth, but Admiral Ozzel's not impressed. You know, it could be something, you know, something and nothing. If we followed up we've got thousands of probe droids. If we followed up on every lead, but Vader knows it's them. I'm sure Skywalker is with them. Set your course for the Hoth system. Says, okay, Lord Vader. General Veers, prepare your men. You notice General Veers, though, goes to Admiral Ozzel. There you go. Gets confirmation of the order. And off they go. Meanwhile, not Sam Witwer. He always reminds me of Sam Witwer, although Sam Witwer was probably born in 1980. When was Sam Witwer born? He always reminds me of him, even though I know it's not him. I don't know how old Sam Witwer is. Oh yes, he was 3-year-old when this came out, was Sam Witwer. But he does. I think he looks a lot like Sam Witwer. Who we're going to play Starkiller, obviously in the game, Force Unleashed. I don't know who he plays. It looks a bit like Randy Orton, doesn't he, from the wrestling? I don't know if that character's got a name though. I don't know who he is. Sorry. Anyway, he's telling them, you know, this, that, and the other. Some are flying speeders, some are doing all this other stuff, whatever. Right, so Ham's still trying to fix the Falcon. It's blowing up and stuff's not happening. They're all packing up, get ready to leave, by the way. Luke saying goodbye. Oh, pardon me. And all that. And there we go. Right, so I think they found that a fleet of Star Destroyers just dropped out of hyperspace. There they are. Admiral Ozzel brought them out too close to the system. Because obviously, it must be an energy surge or something when ships drop out of hyperspace and they pick them up. It'd be easier if they dropped out of hyperspace a lot way back and snuck up on them at impulse power or whatever. Anyways, this is General Veers explaining to Vader that he's in his little energy egg, whatever, I don't know, his sleep egg that he's in. It shows it. Hang on, let's go back. There he is, in his little egg he sleeps. Telling him, they says, they picked up an energy field protecting an area of the 5th planet of the Hoth system. It says, the rebels are alerted to our presence. Admiral Ozzel came out of light speed too close to the system. He's as clumsy as he is stupid. So this is where he gets rid of Admiral Ozzel. He force chokes him over the radio or over Zoom or whatever. He Zoom chokes him. And promotes Captain Piet to Admiral Piet. So says, thank you, Lord Vader. And then next door, can you tidy this up? They should have showed later on when you see them getting rid of the waste. But that's not from this ship, though, is it? So, no. You've seen Admiral Ozzel's body floating about in all the garbage. But that wasn't from this ship, was it? So never mind. Right, so here's Leia giving a little briefing to the X-Wing pilots and the speeder pilots and all that. That ion cannon is going to fire several shots to make sure that any enemy ships are out of their flight path. So that's two fighters per transport and all that. Anyway, here come the Imperial walkers. You can hear them in the distance. AT-ATs, not AT-ATs, the AT-ATs, all-terrain armoured transports. But anyway, right, here comes the first transport with its escort, and there's the. Sorry, I've just got to. This is the first Star Destroyer that was going to get got. I bet he's. I've just got to play this because I just love it. You ready?
Rebel ships are coming into our sector.
Good. Our first catch of the day.
Good. Our first catch of the day. Blah. Is it trying to be Dracula or something? I don't know. But anyway. I mean, they're just minding their own business, just working away on that, whatever they're doing. Right, there's a cool ion cannon, isn't it? Here comes the... Should have been blue, though, shouldn't it? You know, like we saw in Rogue One. The fire, that proton torpedoes and stuff. That was like an ion blast, wasn't it? Anyway, so there we go. Takes out the Star Destroyer, look, making everything shut down on it. Cool. And the first transport is away. Yay! They all cheer. Get into their snow speeders. This is where we're introduced to Dak. There he is. He's Luke's gunner in his snow speeder. Don't see him doing much gunning, but anyway. Right, so there in the distance are the AT-ATs, the Imperial Walkers. We'll just call them that. They won't be getting people angry. The Imperial Walkers are over there. There they look through the macro binoculars. I'm trying to see. It looks like Russian, that, doesn't it? Maybe Ken Colley wrote it. There they are. Look. Oh, look, it's Walkers. Imperial Walkers. Ooh. So they've got to go and deal with them. And then they're just going to start shooting. And all hell breaks loose. Any minute now. There we go. Obviously, this was filmed in Norway. With Norwegian extras who couldn't really understand any of their instructions, apparently. But, you're all right, princess. Not to be naughty, are you? She's starting. Anyway, so here come the speeders. As I said, are the speeders or are the hoppers? Because they're not. If the speeders would just be hovering, wouldn't they, above the ground, not flying. Anyway, whatever. Here we go. They're coming in. Look, but that armor's too strong for blasters. Hobbit, are you still with me? He says. Anyway, so obviously they can't do anything about these walkers, and they think, hang on, hang on. I think Dak's gonna get got in a minute. There he is. Poor Dak's being killed. He didn't last long, did he? There he is. I'm presuming he's dead. If not, he's going to be dead in a few minutes. But anyway, they're taking out the let's say the rebel soldiers as though they're not there. Terrible looking hologram there of Lord Vader. All I can think of is Robot Chicky where he covers him up with like a McDonald's cup. Anyway, reach the main power generator. The shield will be down in seconds. There we go. Oh, General Veers is in the muck. There's a proper general with his men. That's one of my favourite shots coming up. I think of is it this? I've gone past it. No. It's coming up in a minute. Meanwhile, all the speeds are still getting. Oh, by the way, there's Wedge. Remember him from the first film, from A New Hope? You know, who got Biggs killed. Sorry, Luke, I can't stay with you. Oh, get out of here, Wedge. You can't do any good back there. And then distracts Biggs at a critical moment over the radio. I got Biggs killed, didn't he? He's not the bloody hero everybody makes him out to be. Anyway, so Luke's covering for Wedge as he goes in, and they've got get your harpoons and tow cables. It's the only way to bring him down. Blah blah blah. So down they go. There we go. Takes the shot. Boing! Good shooting, Jansen. It's not a very Star Warsy name, is it? But they're in Norway. So round they go. Wee. It's all cool, and there we go. And it trips it up, and down it goes. And obviously, this part here must be very susceptible to blaster fire because they shoot that and the bugger blows up. Look, might just aim for that before all this rigmarole. Whatever. Anyway, they're still trying to fix the Falcon. R2's been plugged into Luke's X-wing. Presume it's still Red 5, presumably. Or is it Red 1 now? Red Leader? I don't know. But anyway, there's the Walker still shooting at stuff. My favourite scenes, shots coming up. Anyway, is it this one? No, it's not this one. It just takes out that big gun. I don't want to miss my favourite bit. Oh, aye, and we see the AT-ST. There we go. Not AT-ST, AT-ST. The Scout Walker, isn't it? Or does they keep calling it behind the scenes Chicken Walker? I hate that saying. Anyways, first look at that, which obviously we'll see many more of those in Return of the Jedi. Well, a couple more. Right, so here we are. There we go. They found the power generators. Is that what the probe droid saw? It must have been, mustn't it? So they're going to blow it up. But first, we've got to have a cool shot in a minute. There's Zev, Rogue 2. Got a bloody nose, don't know how, but somebody punched him. Anyway, but he's going to cop for it. His Zev is going to blow up. There we go. We're going to see him now. There he is. He's been Luke's wingman, but Zev's gone. Rogue 2's down. Then Luke's hit as well, but he don't blow up because he's Luke. He just crashes. Down he goes, and he gets out, and doesn't try to get poor Dak out. Who might just be unconscious for all we know. But no, I don't get it. He thinks, oh, I'm not getting him. Is he trying to get him out? Don't know. But he grabs something. He grabs what they call it, a cable thing. He grabs that, doesn't he? Instead, because there's a walker heading for him, and then down it goes. So if Dak wasn't dead, then he is now, because he's splattered. Right, so he's heading to the command centre, and he's saying, "Get Leia out of here! Everybody evacuate!" And Imperial troops have entered the base. Imperial troops have entered. So all that's happening there. We go. They're all running for their lives because the Empire's striking back, by the way, at this point in the film. Here comes Luke, running underneath a walker. Opens up this thing. What's inside there? I don't know. In Robot Chicken, it's a stormtrooper on the toilet, isn't it? Chucks in I don't know, is it a thermal detonator? Whatever. Chucks that in. And that blows it up. Boom! Blows its head off. And I like this. At least this one's head turns just to have a look. Have I missed it? I've gone too. There we go. It's a little head turn. So anyway, this one's still shooting at them. Run lads! And they're just having pot shots and all having fun. But this is my favourite shot. It's my favourite bit of the whole film. I love this bit. I love it because it's so cool. It's just cool how it does it. You ready? Just adjusts itself, does the AT-AT, to take out that snow speeder, and then carries on. Because it's cool. I'm going to watch it again. But, just adjust myself. Just to get you. You're out of the way. Sorted. Right, so I'm going to take out these power generators, and it deals with them. Maximum firepower. There we go. Boom. Right, meanwhile, notice that sticker there. That has got text on it, but it's not. Don't look like Arabic, does it? Obviously, they hadn't decided on it maybe at this point. But it's not English. I'm surprised they didn't have English, because they did have English text in A New Hope, didn't they? On the power generator and all that stuff. But never mind. That means do not enter, or danger, no entry, something like that. Because in there are wampers. Because there were a bit in the film where wampers had got into the base, and I think it's in the comic as well. It's also in the book. Wampers had got into the base, and they got them trapped in that room. So they're all in there. You should be able to hear them, shouldn't you? Going, oh, and all that, but they're being quiet. But they're in there. They put a sticker on saying, do not enter. Wampers. Oh, they don't say that. As they come running past, here comes 3PO. And they cut it out. He takes off the sticker. So he must have like a force thing, I think. Take that sticker off. Some stormtroopers might go in there, which I think they did. They went in there and got ripped apart by Wampers. So it's a pity they didn't put that in the special edition, isn't it? But never mind. An explosion happens and they get blocked off. They can't get to the to Leah's transport, so he's going to take her out on the Falcon. So they've got to go back the other way. That might be where he takes the sticker off. I don't know, but right. So on the go. Here comes Vader with his snow troopers. The Falcon won't start up, and they're the cool snow troopers. I think in the book as well, we see this come out, the Falcon, and I think the Falcon did that itself. It's just defending itself, basically. Because I'm sure it's connected with what we learn later on with 3PO saying, I don't know how your ship learned to communicate, but it's a very peculiar dialect. I think there is a suggestion that the Falcon is sentient, as like a droid sentient, isn't it? It can think and talk and all that. And even though the Falcon can't talk, it does know when to defend itself. It's a pity it didn't do this, at Mos Eisley and all that, ain't it? But never mind. Anyway, so the start it, they get out, look, they're cool. Hang on, where are we? Vader's like, no, for Pete's sake. Off it goes. And this is a shot that they were very proud of, because it's a panning shot, a panning special effects shot. Here it comes as the Falcon. There we go. Because there were a lot they could do during making Empire they couldn't do in the first film, such as shots like that, panning shots. But anyway, right. So he's jumping into his X-wing now. Is Luke, and taking off from Hoth. But they're not rejoining the fleet. Obviously, they've got coordinates to rejoin the rest of the Rebel fleet. Is it at Solust? Maybe, don't know. But it's got a lot of moons, hasn't it? As Hoth. Anyway, some of them look very close as well, don't they? Your moon is drifting very close now, said Emperor Ming, and a few of them are. Anyway, off he goes. And then you notice R2's changed the colour of his little panels there to black. That's his space livery. Obviously, they couldn't change it to blue, or you'd see stars through him, but never mind. This was before green screens, by the way. It were blue screens, wasn't it? So they're going to Dagobah. There we go. And we also see that he doesn't understand. Luke doesn't understand binary. He's got to be translated by the computer. So there we go. Let's make sure we're still going. Yep. I checked blooming Rumble for chats, because I missed one out last time, and I came back on afterwards. I noticed it after I'd started the outro on Phantom Menace. I started the outro music thing, and then checked on Rumble. There was a chat there. I thought, oh, bloody hell. So I went back and stopped the outro music and came back in. When my camera had gone off for some weird reason, the StreamYard is stupid. So I got that going again, but I didn't realise my StreamYard had turned off my microphone as well. I didn't realise that. So I'm there talking away, saying, oh, we've got a chat from Rumble, and I displayed it. But you couldn't hear me. But I was oblivious, because everybody had buggered off by then. But never mind. Anyway, where were we? Translation there, look, of what R2's saying. He's saying, do you want me to drive? And I said, no, I'm all right. So they're off to Dagobah. Meanwhile, the Falcon is trying to evade a couple of Star Destroyers. 3 of them, actually. There they are. But they can still outrun them, which is a cool... Hang on, there we go. Can still outmaneuver them. That's it. There we go. Because obviously the big lumbering capital ships, aren't they? They can't turn as quickly as a smaller ship. Mass to weight ratio, which is a thing in space. Things don't just turn on a dime and all that. But anyway, there we go. Are they actually colliding, or are they just really close to each other? But anyway, it is cool though, because you see that the light changes. Look on the other one, on that one. Look. See that suddenly goes into shadow. Look, so it's not just it is actually pivoting and all that. It's cool. I like it. Anyway, the TIE fighters keep chasing him, and they're heading for an asteroid field. Oh, right, but first he says, we're going to go into hyperspace, but it doesn't work, it's broken. 3PO tried to tell him this earlier, but he wouldn't let him say. It says the hyperdrive motivators being damaged. They can't go to high light speed, so they're still being chased. I'm presuming the Falcon is doing like automatic, or the Falcon can, as I said, because it's like sentient. We all know it's got that bloody stupid robot brain from Solo, hasn't it? His name I've forgotten. 33, whatever, I don't know. It ain't. That doesn't count. So it's evading the TIE fighters itself. Hydro spanners. What the hell's a hydro spanner? Is it made of water or something? I don't know. But anyway, bringing them. And then he gets a toolbox on his head. So I was wondering, he's dead, isn't it? Look, he says, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this one. Then there's a bang. And all that falls on him. So he probably comes up and there's all screwdrivers and spanners and stuff. And he's like all black eye and bleeding. He's not, he's fine. That wasn't laser blast, something hit us. Then we got asteroids. It's an asteroid field from whence the meteors must come. We don't all know that. I've never seen Solo. Well, okay, fair enough. You know what? It's not a terrible film. It's not a great film. It's not a terrible film. I didn't mind it. I just hated that robot. And that they put, spoilers, Win Grace, that they put the robot's brain into the Falcon. To add, to do something with the navigation, so it could do the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs, basically. Obviously, a female robot. Anyway, whatever. Right, so they're heading into the asteroid field, and 3PO says chances of successfully navigating the asteroid field are approximately 3,720 to 1. Never tell me the odds. So anyway, so in they go, flying in with the amazing music. Hang on, is it going to do it in a minute? Amazing music from John Williams, the asteroid field theme. In a minute. It could do a great theme, couldn't it? Good John. Still can. Anyway. So they're chasing him through, and obviously the TIE fighters are hitting the asteroids and blowing up and all that stuff. And so we're going to get pulverised if we stay out here. Apparently, there's potatoes and all sorts acting as asteroids. And there's a legend that there's actually a training shoe out there somewhere that nobody's ever found it. As far as I know, but one of the asteroids is a training shoe. Don't ask me which one. I don't think it's ever been found. It could be an urban myth. But anyway, we're going to get pulverised if we stay out here much longer. Pulverised? So they're going closer to one of the big ones, which makes sense, I suppose, really, doesn't it, when you think about it? But so in they go, one of the big ones, and flying through a crater and all that stuff. It's cool, I love it. Apart from this bit. I was watching it with my mate a while ago, and I thought, that explosion looks rubbish, and they didn't even improve it in the special editions. But as it flies through this narrow gap, there we go. The two TIE fighters collide and blow up. I don't like it. Looks rubbish, does that? It's a badly composited explosion. It looks poo. Anyway, whatever. Ooh, what's that? What's that there? Just noticed that there's a line there. I wonder what it is. I'm going to go through it a frame at a time, see if it does anything. There's two. I wonder what they are. Dunno. Answers on a postcard, what they might be. Right, so that could be a line that is that hanging on a line? No, it won't be, will it? Will it? I don't know. Anyway, they find a hole to hide in. There we go. They're flying to this hole to hide. Much like Alex Rogan and what's his face? I forgot his name now. Dan O'Hurley, his character. We call him. They hid in a hole in The Last Starfighter, didn't they? Anyway, can you see the spoilers? They're going to hide inside a big creature, a big space slug. Is that it there? Can you see it? Is that it with its mouth open there? I've never noticed it before because I've never looked. I've never paused it as I'm watching it. I've never actually sat and paused it. Is that it? Is it? You can get a better look. Put your lights on, Han. I want to see it illuminated. See if we can see teeth. You know what? I think it is. I've never really noticed it before. lens flare. Look, it's just like a J.J. Abrams film. Oh dear. Yeah, I think that is the space looking. Is it? I don't know. Or am I reading too much into it? Anyway, so they're hiding in there. Meanwhile, Luke arrives at Dagobah. There we go. No cities or technology, but massive life form readings, animals and trees and stuff. So down they go. I imagine it's much like Mimban from Splinter of the Mind's Eye, which is a cool book, and I wish they'd made it into a film. Anyway. Right, so he's landing, but he crashes again. This was they liked this effect, didn't they? In this, we see it twice, don't we? We saw it on Hoth when he crashed his speed with all the snow, and now we see it on the in his X-wing when he crashes it into the water. Anyway, cool matte paintings and stop motion creatures flying about. There we go, some sort of bird-like creatures flying about. All stop motion. It's cool. But anyway, he's landed in a boggy swamp on Dagobah, and he's fed up, he's angry, because he's Luke Skywalker, and he has no patience. He will learn patience, but that's yet to come. So he gets out, but it's sinking, is his X-wing a bit, and R2 falls in the water, and we see a creature in a minute as he heads over there. That way, R2. But a creature arrives. There it is. Ooh, what's that? I don't know, but we see it. We see that creature in Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow when they arrive at the mysterious island place with all the strange creatures in. We see that there. Anyway, does it have a name, by the way? I have no idea. Anyway, it gets R2, but obviously R2's not very palatable, so it spits him out. There we go, like that. And these R2 units are very robust, aren't they? Because he's fine. Look, he's just covered in mud. But anyway. Meanwhile, Vader's still in his oxygen tent. I think we're going to see the back of his head now, aren't we? Because Admiral Piet's come to see him. We're going to see Vader's real head, which were amazing. Oh, pardon me. Which were amazing at the time. Like, wow, it's Vader's veiny head. But anyway, and Justin 34's here. Hang on, I'm just Justin 34's here. Just in time to see the back of Vader's veiny head. PC. There we go. So here we go. He's having a sneak round look, and then look, Vader's head. Ah, and then it does the sound effect, doesn't it? Thunk. Anyway. So, here we go. Gone into an asteroid field. Asteroids do not concern me, Admiral. I want the ship, not excuses. So they've all got to go into the asteroid field after they're going to send in the TIE bombers and all that stuff. But anyway, they're going to try and fix the Falcon. While they're in their safety thing, but it all rocks about. So, I think this asteroid's not entirely stable, because she falls into his arms and says, "Get off me, you big bloody thing!" And he says, "Oh, sorry, I didn't want to get you excited," because there's all a lot of sexual tension going on. But anyway, right. Meanwhile, Luke's getting his gear out of the X-wing. X-wings hold a surprising amount of gear, don't they? Well, the cockpit does, unless there's a storage compartment somewhere. There must be, but he's got it all out. There's tons of the stuff. Anyway, right, so he's charging up R2 and having some dinner, and there we go. It says, feels like what? Like I'm being watched. This way, we're introduced to Yoda, played by Frank Oz, voiced and puppeteered by Frank Oz. And brilliantly so, but my mate hates him. My mate Simon hates Yoda. He thinks he's a green fuzzy bear. That's all he thinks. He just thinks, wagga, wagga, wagga. That's all he thinks he's going to do any minute now. But anyway, yes, he's Yoda. Obviously, Luke doesn't know he's the Jedi Master Yoda. He doesn't know that. He just thinks he's some annoying little fellow along the way, and Yoda's stealing his whatever it is, some cheesy puffs and cheese and crackers and I don't know what the hell is in there. I'm sure it's all very tasty, but Yoda doesn't like it. Anyway, Yoda's nicking all his stuff and he's saying, "Oh, get away from me! I need my lamp back." It's not a very bright lamp, is it? And might need to get out of this slimy mud hole. There's mud hole slimy, my home this is. And he has a little fight with R2. There we go. I'll let him have it. Anyway, so Yoda takes him to his little hovel. It says, "You seek Yoda." Because he says, "I'm searching for a Jedi Master." And all that stuff. A great warrior. Who was not make one great and all that. So off they go to his hovel. But here we see... I forgot how they did it. Is it a chimpanzee? Did they get a chimpanzee and dress it up as Yoda for that bit? I don't know. I can't remember. They did something, didn't they? I've forgotten. I should have rewatched that documentary. Anyway, so off they go. Right. So meanwhile, they're still trying. Oh, here we go. We learn now. I don't know where your ship learned to communicate, but it's the most peculiar dialect. It should sound like what's her face, shouldn't it? Blanking on her name and all. Who that played the robot in Solo? Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Should sound like her, shouldn't it? Anyway, so they're all fixing the ship and all that. There we go. So they're getting on with that. She's doing some welding because she can mend things, and he's trying to help her. She's saying, "Get off! I don't need any help," even though she obviously does. But anyway, they're going to snog in a minute. There we go. She says, "I'm a scoundrel," and and all that. So I'm going to snog. So they have a snog, and the 3PO interrupts them, and she sneaks off. She can't sneak very far though, can she? I mean, not that big, is it? Anyway, so that's where we get. They're in love with each other now, or at least want to pursue a physical relationship. But anyway, we're going to see this fella die in a minute. I think we see it... hang on, let's go back a bit. Oh, there we go. So we see this Star Destroyer bridge section get hit by an asteroid, look. And then we see this poor fella. He was obviously on that bridge. I've done more than that. But anyway. So that's the end of him. But anyway, so they still searching for him. That's Captain Needer, I think, is that, isn't it? Right, so keep looking. What does he say? I've forgotten. Oh, yes. The Emperor is calling him. Not collect. So it says, "Move out of the asteroid field so we can send a clear transmission." So the executor, whatever the hell you pronounce it, moves out of the asteroid field. So there's no interference, and this is where we're going to see the Emperor for the first time, but it's not going to be Ian McDiarmid. I forgot his name then. It would be Ian McDiarmid. There we go. It's I forgot her name. It's a woman. It's actually a woman playing the Emperor. Sebastian, not Sebastian Shaw. That he plays Anakin, doesn't he? Clive Revill does the voice, and the eyes belong to a chimpanzee, apparently. But I can't remember who plays the face. Margaret something. I don't know. I can't remember. Let's have a look. See if it says. Oh, Elaine Baker. Where did they get Margaret from? I don't know. Elaine Baker playing the... maybe the chimpanzee were called Margaret. But Elaine Baker playing the president, the Emperor. A chimpanzee called Margaret playing the eyes. And Clive Revill doing the voice. Clive Revill's been in loads of stuff, and I can't think of any. He played the Sheriff of Nottingham in Star Trek Windgrace, in Cupid. That was Clive Revill. There you go. Anyway, there was a great disturbance in the Force, and it's talking about Luke Skywalker and all that stuff. We have a new enemy, and they don't talk in the special edition. They expand on this bit, don't they? They get Ian McDiarmid in, and they expand on it. And the son of Skywalker must not be allowed to become a Jedi. But they don't bother with all that here. He just says, if he could be turned, he would be a great asset and all that stuff. So, there you go. So don't mention him being the son of Skywalker, because we're not supposed to know, are we? that he is the son of Skywalker. He will join us or die, my master. Anyway, Clive didn't seem very merry either. No, he wasn't very merry as well. He was not a merry man. Anyway, so here's R2 standing on his tippy toes. They had to faff about with this quite a bit to get it to work. Because Irving Kirshner says, I want him to stand on his tippy toes. Oh, you can't see for me. Hang on. Let me stop my camera. You can still hear me. He wants to stand on his tippy toes so he can look through this window. So here he goes. Hang on. Press the wrong button. There he goes. So obviously they had to move them back so he could stand on his tippy toes. So not his normal configuration, is it? Anyway, right. Right. Anyway, where were we? Chucking it down. So R2's not having a good time, is he? He's not having a good time on Dagobah. Justin says, that one is scary. What, the Emperor? It is because it's an amalgam. First of all, it's a woman, then it's a chimp, and then a bloke doing the voice. Anywho, so here's Luke in Yoda's hovel, just helping himself to whatever he wants. Because, Americans hate it in films when, you see these young American kids that just go into people's fridges and just eat whatever they want out of the fridge. I ain't going to ask. Just make yourself at home. Anyway, whatever. So he loses his temper, does Luke, because he wants to get on with it. Because he's saying, why you become a Jedi? I suppose because of my father. Oh, powerful Jedi was he, powerful. He says, how could you know my father? You don't even know who I am. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Throws things about and gets all angry. And then he says, I cannot train him. He says in a Yorkshire accent. He has no patience. That's how he says it. So we learn this is the Jedi Master. Oh, as we also hear the voice of Obi-Wan. Was I any different when you taught me? And all that. He says all that. So, you're Yoda. Yes, I am. He says, I am that I am. And there we go. For 800 years he's trained Jedi. So he started training them when they were 100 years old. So that means Grogu, who is 50, has got a lot of growing to do in 50 years, hasn't he? But anyway, never mind. So, there we go. He's telling him that, to become a Jedi, you've got to put the work in, basically. It says, I can do it, honest. He says, a long time I've watched, this one I have watched. All his life as he looked away. And all this stuff. You are reckless. And then he says, no, I can't train him. He's too old. That's obviously, it's always a thing, isn't it? But he says, I've learned so much, And he said, will he finish what he begins? I won't fail you. I'm not afraid. There you go. Then he goes, just to put the fear of God into him.
You will be. You will be.
Apparently he took a few attempts at that, didn't he? Did Frank Oz, if you watch. Is it Empire of Dreams? I think it's Empire of Dreams, that documentary. Took a while for him to get that right, didn't it? Kept saying, you will be. Kept getting the last bit right for some weird reason. But anyway, we got it in the end. Meanwhile, TIE bombers are bombing the heck out of this asteroid. We can hear them in the distance go. So it seems kind of cosy. I kind of like it. Because this bit kind of reminds me of the book Splinter of the Mind's Eye, where they're in that vehicle where they go into the jungle in the book, and they're in a vehicle, and it seems all cosy. They're all nice and cosy and warm. They've got everything they need in this thing, and it's kind of like that here, where they're safe in the Falcon, and she's chilling out for a bit, but not safe for long because. Thingamabobs are coming. They see something go past the window, and then something that looks very rude plops onto the windscreen. Here it is. Hang on, there we go. And some horrible creatures splattering its genitals all over your windscreen. Minox, that's what they're called, aren't they? I think I'd scream as well. I wonder what his opinion were going to be. Sleeper says, so if I may venture an opinion, I'm not really interested. Anyway, so it's Minox. So out they go. Luckily, the pressure outside is, sustainable. They need, oxygen masks, but they don't need a full space suit. So obviously everything's okay, and it's obviously not the freezing cold of space. Anyway, there they are, and some could fly there. We've got to see one there. Oh, it's a Minox, which chew on the power cables. So, pardon me. Some more come. They start shooting, and obviously the shoot and they miss the Minox and hit the wall of the cave, and it starts another earthquake or another cave quake. So he shoots the ground, and then it sets it off going again. So they all get back on board. Says, "This is no cave. Getting out of here." So off they go. And there we go. We see the cave mouth is closing. But what happened to all the big long tunnel? Whatever. This is no cave. What? So they fly out, nearly get chewed, and it's a space slug. Ow. And it didn't get them. So it goes back in, and notice its little eye stalks go back in as it goes back down. Look, they retract. Nice little feature. Anyway, in it goes. I'm guessing it don't eat very often. I mean, what does it live on down there? Does it just sleep for millions of years until somebody flies the spaceship in? Or does it live on the Minox that's inside? Is it just, at one point, were it absolutely full of Minox and it's just like slowly digesting them? I have no idea. Anyway, right, Luke's starting his training. He's running about with Yoda in his backpack. Yoda's giving him pearls of wisdom and all that stuff. There we go. Is this where they get to? Is this where the cave? In the book, it was a tree, wasn't it? The tree you went into. But in this, it's a cave. Is it this? Yes, it's this way. It's going into the cave. And it's strong with the dark side of the Force. So he's going to go in. Takes his weapons, even though he's told he doesn't need his weapons. I'm taking them anyway. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. That's his argument. Oh, he doesn't say that, but but in he goes. But that was the wrong choice, and Yoda knows that. But I bet everybody, this is his Kobayashi Maru, isn't it, basically? Everybody fails it first time. So in he goes, all snakes and stuff. It's like an Indiana Jones thing, isn't it? Before Indiana Jones was a thing. Alfred Molina's probably impaled somewhere in there. Anyway, so in he goes. And some weird, it's not just a cave. There's a doorway there. Anyway, he goes in, and he sees Vader. Vader comes round the corner, so he immediately starts fighting him. I think Luke is the first to ignite his lightsaber, I think. Does it show it? It's already got it lit, look. And I think later on with the fight, Luke is the first. Luke initiates all the fighting and stuff later on. Probably why he loses. Anyway, so he has a quick fight with Vader, then chops Vader's head off, thusly. Because it's for kids. It's for kids, is this, Anyway, and then so Vader's head rolls to the floor because it's for kids, But then the face plate explodes, and it's Luke looking back up at himself. You have killed yourself, or whatever. I'm not sure what the moral of the story is. He fought himself rather than fighting Vader. That's what it's all about. Or something. Take away from it what you will. It's a multiple answers, multiple choice answer. But Yoda knows what's going on, so he just goes, like Odo. Right, bounty hunters have arrived. Obviously, Vader put out the call, and they must have arrived really quickly. I'll see if I can remember the names. Probably can't. Bounty hunters, we don't need those scum. No need to force an explanation. Anyway, right, so here are the bounty hunters. There's Bosk. I can never remember the bloody names. There's something like Gluckus or something. Not that, but something like that, isn't it? There's Boba Fett. There that's Zuckus. That's it, Zuckus. Can't remember what he's called. He's some sort of droid, isn't he? But I forgot his name. And there's we see Dengar as well, don't we? There's IG-88 there. Do we not see Dengar apart from the wide shot? Don't like it, does it? Poor Dengar. There's Dengar. I keep thinking of Robot Chicken again. Anyway, never mind. So anyway, so they're into those that find the Millennium Falcon, no disintegrations. Now then, which voice is this? This should still be Jason Wingreen. Should be, shouldn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Off PC.
No disintegrations.
As you wish.
There we go. Proper Boba Fett's voice. I think it was Jason Wingreen, wasn't it? The late Jason Wingreen. As the voice of Boba Fett. Anyway, right, they're coming out of the asteroid field. He thinks he's fixed the hyperdrive, but obviously he hasn't. It's not working. It's not fair. Right, okay, so they're being chased now. Look, being chased now by a Star Destroyer. The Avenger. Being chased by the Avenger, aren't they? That's what this one is, I think. Or that was the one in the beginning of A New Hope. Can't remember. Anyway, this is Captain Needer's ship, anyway. Right, turn her around because the shields are failing and they're going to go straight at him. And the odds of successfully surviving an attack on the Imperial Star Destroyer are short up, they all say. So anyway, it's off they go. They move into attack position. Oh no, we can't hit it because we're rubbish. Anyway, it just disappears. There we go. Flies over the bridge, disappears. It obviously hit the brakes as Han. And they can't detect it because it must be inside there. It's like flying under the radar. It's inside there. I don't know, censored bubble or whatever. I don't know. No longer on the scopes. So, anyway, no ship that smart. They've got cloaking devices. Did we ever see a cloaking device in Star Wars? I don't know. But big ships have cloaking devices, apparently, in Star Wars. And they also talk about teleportation in A New Hope, don't they? So is that a thing? Don't know. We never see it as far as I know. Anyway, right, so Lord Vader demands an update. So is that there? But just I'll get back to him. That's what I just said. I'll get back to him. He says, no, I'm going to jump in a shuttle. Don't have teleporters on here. Can't beam over. Jump on a shuttle and tell him personally. So that's what he does in a bit. Meanwhile, training continues. Luke can stand on one hand with Yoda on his foot, and then he makes rocks float and all that stuff. There we go. And then he makes doesn't make R2 float yet, does he? Does he? No, not yet. No, R2 puts him off, doesn't he? R2 distracts him because the X-wing sinks deeper into the mire, and R2's like going. Giving it all that and distracting Luke and concentrate, and he falls. And there's I'll never get it out now, says Luke. And they're so certain are you? Always with you, it cannot be done. So he says, all right, I'll have a go. So he tries to use the Force, and it does come up a bit, but it goes back down. He says it's too big. He says size is not important. That's what they all say, don't they? Judge me by my size, do you? So Luke berates Yoda, says, you want the impossible. So Yoda says, well, I'll show you, you little shit. So he gets it out. So here he goes. He says, right, I'll get it out for you. There we go. Out it comes. There we go. And I'll float it over to the land and pop it down there. See? Sorted. He says, I don't believe it. That is why you failed, he says. Like that, look. That's why you fail. See, Luke, you're a failure, Yoda says. Meanwhile, Captain Needer's going to be in the... Look, it reminds me of them Battlestar Galactica shuttles. The shuttle that pops out here. Hang on, where is it? Where the hell is it? There it is. It is nothing like one, is it? It looks, I don't know. What does it look like? Is there a close-up image of this shuttle anywhere? What is it? Is it a Lego brick or something? I don't know what it is, but off it goes. It's not one. It's not an Imperial shuttle with the wings and stuff, is it? Because I don't think they'd invented them yet. I don't think we see one. We see one in the special edition, don't we? But I don't think we see one in this. We don't see it till Return of the Jedi. Anyway, so Captain Needer is not killed. If you watch Robot Chicken, we know he's not killed. Oh dear. So, but apparently, Vader thinks he's choked him to death. But he's not dead, because we know he's not dead. I'll show you why, because it says, get rid of him. Look. He gets up. He's fine. They just drag him off. Pretend he's dead. Put a moustache on him. Lord Vader will know no difference. Anyway, so they've got to go searching. The bounty hunters are out looking for him. You know, they've got to head off in different directions and search for the Millennium Falcon. You know, they've got to deploy the fleet, basically. There we go. But there it is. There's the Falcon. It's latched onto the side. Luckily, there's no windows there for him to, you know, somebody walks past the window. Like, what's that blocking the window? Thankfully, that isn't the case. No windows on the backside of a Star Destroyer bridge section. Although there's those. Are they windows or just lights? Don't know. Anyway. Right, so I think the turn off art, 3PO, don't they? The turn off 3PO, because he's say, no, I will not be quiet. The Empire may be gracious enough, and they turn him off. There you go. So what I'm going to do, going to look for somewhere else to go. They're in the, is it a Nolan? No, hang on. Nolan system or something. Oh no, Anoat system. Where do they get Nolan from? Anoat system. That's where they are. But that must be where Bespin is, I'm guessing. Where Lando Calrissian is. There you go. A card player, gambler, scoundrel. You'd like him, Prince, because she likes scoundrels. A Tabana gas mine. There's Bespin. It's far, but we can make it. Anyway, they're getting ready to jettison their waste, which is like these massive lumps of machinery. God knows what way. It'd be like toilet tissues and stuff, shouldn't it? All bin liners with waste food in and stuff. Trash bags. But no, it's all huge chunks of machinery, look. Anyway, whatever. So they fly away with that. But little do they know, can we see it? It's in there somewhere, isn't it? There goes the Falcon. There it is. There goes the Falcon. Little do they know, there's another ship in there with them. There it is. Oh, you can't see it. Hang on. There it is. There it is. There's Slave One. Not the fire spray. Not Boba Fett's starship. It's Slave One. There it is. It's going to set off in hot pursuit or whatever. Well, not really. It's going to work out where they're going first and then get there ahead of them, isn't it? So off he goes. And there he is watching. Watching, because he's sneaky and he knows, because he saw when he was a kid. Hang on, I'll put it back on. He saw when he was a kid what Obi-Wan did at Geonosis. I think it was Geonosis, wasn't it? Anyway, whatever. But never mind. Right, so there you go. So he's going to tell Vader. I think they're going to Bespin. How long does it take them to get there? I don't think there is an answer, is there? I think it's one of those questions that's never been answered. How long did it take them to get there? Don't know. You think it'd take a long time if the hyperdrive's not working? Or is Bespin quite close? It says it's far, but they can make it. So a day, 2 days, a week, 2 weeks. Luke's obviously carrying on his training, isn't he, on Dagobah? And still doing his lifting rocks and stuff, and then he lifts R2 as well. And then he has visions of the future, and then he sees his friends being tortured in a city in the clouds and all that stuff, which distracts him again. It's failed again. There you go. So, city in the clouds. Oh, they're in pain. I got to go help them. Will they die? Don't ask Yoda, because Yoda can't see sod all. Even in the prequel trilogy, he could see bugger all. Dark side, clouds, everything, etc. I think he's a flanneler, although he's good with physical stuff, lifting X-Wings out of swamps and all that, and a bit of lightsaber fighting against Dooku. Apart from that, he's crap. Didn't do very well in the lightsaber fight against blooming Palpatine, did he? No. Into exile I must go. Anyway. Right, so it says, I've got to go help them. It says, no, you can't, because for... it says, help them you can, but you would destroy all for which they're fought and suffered. How does he know? He just said the future's always in motion. So he doesn't know, does he? Anyway, so he's got something to think about. Meanwhile, they've arrived at Bespin. There it is. Which, according to George Lucas, the audio commentary, is a planet that's all clouds like Venus. I thought, why did he pick that? No, it's a gas giant, isn't it? Venus isn't a gas giant. Obviously, Venus is shrouded with clouds. I think Bespin's supposed to be a gas giant, like Jupiter or Saturn or whatever. Which is why it's got a gas mine there. But anyway, whatever. It's a few instances in Star Wars, where there's like air traffic control or, intercepted, unauthorised ships are intercepted. Because people just usually land willy-nilly wherever they want, don't they? But here we go, they're being like Cloud City Speeders or whatever they're called. Cloud Cars, that's what they call them, don't they? Which are armed because they're going to start shooting. Here we go. Says, no, I don't see me mate. I don't see me mate Lando. Anyway, so they're going to land. They've got permission to land on platform 327. Now, in the special edition, we saw them flying through the city, but we don't get that here. Here we go there. They're headed to Cloud City. George Lucas says, I always had I were on a plane and I imagined seeing a city floating in the clouds. And I thought, no, you watch Flash Gordon and Prince Fulton's realm were a city floating in the clouds. That's where you got the idea, George. Stop trying to make out with your own idea. Anyway, right, so there we go. They arrive at Cloud City. There it is. Which kind of reminds me, I must admit, it does kind of remind me. Let's have a look again. A little bit like Space Dock, isn't it? From Star Trek. But anyway. There we go. So they just arrive. And then they land. There's no flight through the city, which I think were a bit overrated. I think the Falcon looked a bit weird as it were flying through the city. It was flat. I don't know why. It was like this sort of being pancaked, the Millennium Falcon, and then when it landed, this big chunky thing that lands. But anyway, whatever. There you go, it lands, and down comes the ramp, and there's nobody there. Well, they did let us land, and then Lando arrives. Billy D. Williams, yay! Harvey Dent from Batman, and I think in Batman Returns, I think he has a brief appearance, doesn't he? I think as Harvey Dent. I could be wrong. But not for Batman Forever, unfortunately. But anyway, it comes out and says, oh, you slimy, double-crossing, no-good swindler, you got nerve coming here after what you pulled. Oh, I don't know what you're on about. But it's all a ruse, and he gives him a big hug. Hey! And there's Lobot, played by John Hollis, which is one of these weird Star Wars characters. It's called Lobot, obviously, because he's had some sort of lobotomy. He's had some sort of implants put in his brain. He never speaks, but he's connected to the city computer and that. And he's one of these weird Star Wars characters where stuff like that happens. I think the most terrifying Star Wars characters win grace, because you've not seen it, are in that Solo film. And I don't know what they call them, but they're like people, and they've had the top of their heads taken off. They're just that from there down, and it's just like a mechanical bit there. I think they're terrifying. And they use them as like servants and stuff. And I forgot what they call them. Anywho, that's by the by. He sends the guards away. Look, he sends them off. Right, so there we go. He's very friendly. Right, so and this is where we learn that the Millennium Falcon used to belong to Lando Calrissian, and Han Solo won him fair and square-ish. So anyway, let's see. No Stew back. He's still hanging around with this loser because he got a life debt or whatever. So they ignore 3PO, obviously. Well, I never. So in they go. In they go into Cloud City. We don't see not many windows we see in this, in the theatrical version. In the special edition, so they had windows where you can see the city beyond, and that's it. Fair enough. That's it. Empire Strikes Back is the one of the special editions that's come out better for it than the other two. But anyway. So we're learning that Lando's become a serious, businessman. Is running Cloud City and all that. Anyway, but meanwhile, 3PO sees another. Hang on, where are we? Sees another. There we go. Another protocol droid. Is it the same one that we saw at the beginning of A New Hope? Probably not. But I think it swears at him in a foreign language, "Ichuta," something like that. And he says, "Oh, how rude." So he obviously learned that, didn't he, from Jar Jar Binks, because Jar Jar Binks was saying how rude. Anyway, then he hears a R2 unit. We hear the beeping of an R2 unit. He goes, "Oh," but he looks round, and then we hear a voice. "Who are you?" "Oh, I'm sorry." And then he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then he gets shot. There we go, to pieces. Hell of a blast, wasn't it? But 3PO hears something. Probably smells burning rubber or something, plastic. But they don't know what's happened to 3PO. Anyway, Luke's decided he's going to go and help his friends. He can't keep the visions out of his mind. He says, "Oh, go, you must not," blah, blah, blah. Says, "I've got to help them. They'll die if I don't do anything." And Obi-Wan appears in his ghostly form. Says, "You don't know that not even Master Yoda can see their fate, because Master Yoda's rubbish at seeing the future." But says, I can feel the Force, but you can't control it, and you'll lose basically. But he says, "I'm still going." He says, "All right then." And then Obi-Wan says, "I wash my hands of," his Pontius Pilate, "I wash my hands of you. I can't help you." Why can't he help him? He says, "If you decide to go, I won't be able to help you," or whatever he says. Won't be able, or can't help him, or hang on, where are we? Can't control it. Dangerous time for you. Maybe I'll fail it at the cave. This is why all that stuff. Come on, what does he say? What does he say? Tell him, if you go now, end your training, choose the quick and easy path. That's the path to the dark side, as Vader did. An agent of evil you will be. There we go. If you choose, it says to you, if you choose to face Vader, you will do it alone. I cannot interfere. Why? Why can't he interfere? Who's going to stop him? I don't know. Is he like an ascended being from Stargate? The others not help him, or they'll intervene, and they won't let him help Luke. I just think he won't. I think he said, "No, I'm not going to help him. Sod you. You make your own bed. You can lie in it." That's what he's saying. Anyway, but he's stubborn, so he says, "Right, I'm going anyway." So off we go. So don't give in to hate, that leads to the dark side, etc. So that boy is our only hope, says as he goes. Now matters are worse. He says, "That boy is our last hope." Said, "No, there is another." And everybody goes, "Ooh, who's the other one?" And it turned out to be Lee, and everybody was disappointed. Anyway. So off Luke goes to Bespin. There they are at Cloud City. Chimney Cloud City. There's Leia in clothes that were. If you see the concept art for Cloud City and all that, and Lando, you actually see Lando wearing these clothes, but then they decided to stick Leia in them. Anyway, there's worrying about Chewie, not Chewie, 3PO is, they don't know where he's gone. So that's Lando, don't trust Lando, blah, blah, blah. But Chewie's out looking for him, and he finds him down in the bowels of Cloud City where these Ugnaughts are working in some scrap room, and he finds Chewie's bits and bobs all in a box. I think we're going to chuck him in the furnace, and he grabs the bits, has a little tussle with the Ugnaughts, but gets all the parts of 3PO. There we go. Look, they're playing with him, little buggers. But anyway, there we go. So he's found him in a junk pile. So can you fix him? Probably not. Luckily, he can fix him without any tools. He can just put him back together and turn a few knobs and stuff. Don't need a screwdriver, flathead, crosshead, etc. A pair of pliers and spanners and wrenches and all that. None of that. Can just stick him back together. Be right. Anyway, right. So the big betrayal's coming up now. So we're going to take them to dinner. Off they go. Saying, I've made a deal. This is suspicious. I think Chewie smells a rat. Says, I've made the deal to keep the Empire out of here forever. And he opens the door. Oh no, it's Vader. And he shoots at him. Vader just deflects with his hand and uses the Force to do that. Look, better than Luke did with his lightsaber. We would be honoured if you could join us. So there we go. Stormtroopers arrive. He's no choice. So thanks, pal. Meanwhile, Luke's on his way. There they are, arriving at Bespin. They're all in prison now. They're torturing Chewbacca. They're playing loud noises and all that stuff. I don't know where Leia is. But anyway, the noise has stopped, so he decides he's going to start fixing 3PO. And as I said, he just basically plugs back together. Doesn't need screwdrivers or anything. Torturing, cause it's for kids. It's a kids' film, so torturing Han. There we go. With, I don't know, electrical bits and bobs, I don't know. But they're not asking him any questions or anything else. They're just torturing him so that Luke can feel the pain of his friends. I don't know what he's doing to Leia. Might be torturing her as well. Don't know. He did her in tortured her in the previous film, didn't he? But anyway, he's no good to me, dead. Is that what he says? Yeah, he don't say it in a New Zealand accent, does he? Because he's no good. How does he? I can't remember what his voice is like.
He's no good to me, dead.
Oh, he's no good to me, dead. As opposed to, he's no good to me, did. Which is what it is now, isn't it? With Tamara Morrison. Anyway, this is where we learn that he's changing he's changing the deal. Is Vader? Sorry, I'm thinking of Robot Chicken again. They must never again leave this city. Says that wasn't our deal. Pray, I'm changing the deal. Pray I don't change it anymore. And then he comes out again and. You must wear these clown shoes and ride this unicycle everywhere you go. I am changing the deal. Pray I don't change it anymore. Anyway, whatever. Right. So, unfortunately, I had to leave a garrison there, which he's going to do anyway, So, anyway, he gets 3PO working again, but he's got his head on backwards, whatever. They bring Han back. Leia's there as well, by the way, I think. Or they bring her in a minute, don't they? Han's there. There we go. They bring Leia in. Got one of the same. We see one of them in Star Trek 5, don't we? See one of them in that. But they didn't even ask me any questions because it's not about asking questions. Just putting them in pain so that Luke will feel the pain and draw him to them. But anyway, Lando comes in with some guards and says. Got to give Han to the bounty hunter, and Leia and Chewie have to stay here forever and ever. And And he says, well, what does he want with us? He says, he's not interested in you. He's after somebody called Skywalker. And he says, he's on his way. And so Han punches him. There we go. And all that. But he says, I'm sorry I couldn't do any more. He says, you're a real hero. Anyway, right. So testing out the carbon chamber now. Carbon freezing chamber. Here we go. The X-Wings arrive and allow it to land. So if you put Skywalker in there, it might kill him. I do not want the Emperor's prize damaged. We will test it on Captain Solo. I think he says that, does he? Yes. Right, Luke's arriving. Look at Cloud City. Not the magic hour like it was when Millennium Falcon arrived, just in the daytime. Right, so we're on this set anyway. The carbon chamber set. We're just in a studio with black walls, just a few lights to give it the blue light in the background, and it was like a half a set. And if they wanted any reverse shots, they just moved everything round. That's all they did. Right, so here we are. Han's going to be put in the carbon chamber, carbon freezing thing. What if he doesn't survive? I've got to listen to his voice because I've got that used to listening to Tamara Morrison. I want to listen to Jason Wintergreen again. Not Wintergreen, Wingreen.
What if he doesn't survive? He's worth a lot to me.
That's proper Boba Fett voice, isn't it? He's worth a lot to me. That's snarling, isn't it? The Empire will compensate you if he doesn't survive. Anyway, 3PO's chucking some stormtroopers about, and Han said, no, you've got to look after the princess. So they put him in, and this is where she does the famous line, they have a kiss, there we go. And then they put him in. Notice his hands are tied, by the way. Notice his hands are tied. But never mind. And she says, I love you. You're like, look, I love you, she says. And after about 80 million takes, in overtime, because they're cutting into like a dinner break or something like that. You know what the English people are like on film sets. Got to have their breaks, but they were cutting into it. And, the line was, I love you too. And they were trying all that line and other lines. It didn't work. And they said, all right, we'll try one more time. Action, just say anything, the first thing that comes to your mind. And she says, I love you. And he says,
I know.
There we go. Said, cut, we've got it, that's it. So anyway, in he goes to the carbon freezing. Down he goes, look. But notice his hands were tied. What happens when he comes back up? Then the tongs in to get him out. And out he comes. There he is. You'll see when it shows him. His hands are up there. So did the freezing freeze off his manacles or whatever? But anyway, his hands are up. And this is what everybody wants on their fridge. You can get fridges with that on, can't you? Anyway, so boom, there he is. Anyway, he's alive and in perfect hibernation. So, and 3PO's impressed, by the way. He should be quite well protected if he survives the freezing process, that is. And he is. He's fine. Reset the chamber for Skywalker. Anyway, this fella comes in. Don't know if you recognise him. If you follow me shows, he was in last week's episode, last Friday's episode of Friday Night Appointment with Fear, Hammer House of Horror, The House That Bled to Death. He played Mr. Powers. Forgot the name of the actor. Milton Johns. That's who he is. Just let me double check. Imperial officer. There'll be somewhere, won't there? Imperial officer. I'll just control F. Milton. Right. There we go. Yes, Milton Johns. Yes, I was right. Imperial officer. As I said, he was in that Hammer House of Horror last Friday. There he is. Right. So anyway, the ship's landed and see that like Luke Skywalker finds his way there. Meanwhile, he's got to take them. Oh, why? If it changes the deal again, says take the Wookiee and Princess Leia to my starship, to my shuttle or whatever. Says, no, she said, you said she'd to stop here. I am changing the deal. So, taking them away. There we go. Han's going with Boba Fett. And there's Luke with R2. R2's gonna be dry humping Luke's leg in a minute. But anyway, there we go. There we go. And there we go. There's R2 humping Luke's leg. Dirty little bugger. Anyway, so he's good running after him. And he sees he sees Leia and Chewie and all that, and she starts shouting, "Luke, Luke, it's a trap!" But there we see Boba Fett's there again, but not the voice. It's Jeremy Bulloch playing the Imperial officer. He also played Boba Fett. So there we go. There he is, Jeremy Bulloch. He's been in loads of stuff, actual proper acting. He was in Spy Who Loved Me. He played one of the sailors on one of the British submarines in The Spy Who Loved Me. Anyway, there he is, Jeremy Bulloch. It's a trap. There we go. That's a familiar phrase, isn't it? Right, so off he goes after them. Goes through there. R2 can't follow him. Right, so he's ended up in the freezing chamber. And there's Vader waiting for him. The Force is with you, young Skywalker, but you are not a Jedi yet. There you go. I noticed Luke is the first one to activate his lightsaber when he's ready. In a minute. There we go. So he's ready, and he's the one that initiates the fighting as well, as we'll see. There we go. So Vader doesn't start the fight. Remember, a Jedi uses the Force for knowledge and defense, never for attack. But it's exactly what Luke's doing there, isn't he? But Vader's kind of playing with him. But anyway, they end up having a bit of a fight, and it's all fun and games and stuff. Hang on, where are we? Until Vader gets this bit, and it makes it go. Hang on, where are we? In a minute. There we go. Hey! So he had a good swing at him then, didn't he? But Luke got out of the way. So were he prepared to chop Luke's head off there? I was wanting to catch him out there, but if he gets it wrong, he'll be dead, won't he? But anyway, never mind. Right, so there. Lando changes sides, and his soldiers come out and surround the stormtroopers. They disarm them, take him off to the security tower or whatever, and he releases Chewie. Chewie immediately starts throttling him. Like that. But you never see Chewie's fingers. You don't see Chewie's fingers, as I said, till Force Awakens. He had mystery fingers until then. But he says, there's a chance to save Han. So, anyway. So, he's on the south platform. Is it? East. Oh, I'd have gone to the wrong platform, wouldn't I? Anyway, right, so off they go. But they're putting him in slave one. And they're too late. They find R2. But they're too late. Now we've got shooting at him just in case. But off he goes, back to Tatooine. Oh, no. See, they're getting their asses kicked out. The Empire's striking back, isn't it? Really. It does what it says on the tin, doesn't it? Right, so stormtroopers arrive, start shooting at them, look. Ooh. They're still fighting. You haven't learned much. Obi-Wan, he keeps saying Obi-Wan has taught you well. He doesn't know about Yoda, you see, does he? Falls down some steps, there we go, and pushes him into, well, not pushes him, but goads him into the carbon chamber all too easy. But no, whee! He was flying out, lands above him with a clang. I don't know, did he bang his head? I don't know, but we just hear this really loud noise.
Perhaps you're not as strong as the Emperor thought.
Boing! What did he hit? I don't know. But anyway, there he is, clambering about, and he uses the Force to get his lightsaber. There we go. And we carry on the fight again. There we go. You have controlled your fear. Now release your anger. And blah, blah, blah. Come to the dark side. Anyway, makes Vader fall off there. Vader falls off there. And that was another funny bit. Because he's going to go after Vader now. He turns off his lightsaber in a minute. Oh, there, he's turned it off there. Look, off screen. Saved an effect. I'm going to have to get rid of my camera again now. Because if you watch here, he jumps. I think he's supposed to just jump down there and disappear somewhere and go after Vader. But if you watch it, his head pops up again here. Are you ready? Hang on. Here he comes. Whee! And there he is. I think he was supposed to go like a long way down. But never mind. Never. Right. Where were we? Right, so he's got to follow him through this inside of this washing machine or whatever it is. Looks like inside of a washing machine, doesn't it? So then he goes, so it should all be spinning round, shouldn't it? Anyway, so I don't know what the area this is in Cloud City. It's just some weird area with lots of machinery and a big window. Anyway, this is where Rey has her vision when she touches the lightsaber, doesn't she, in Force Awakens. Anyway, right, so they carry on fighting. But Vader's chucking stuff at him. He's fighting him and using the Force to throw stuff at Luke as well. As we'll see. There we go. So it's overwhelming Luke and making him go through the window. Hang on, where are we? There he goes. Whee! I don't think that was Mark Hamill, was it? Anyway, off he goes. Hanging the... meanwhile, they're shooting... Look, this poor stormtrooper here, you ready? Look. Oh, just poor fella. About his family. Anyway. They've got to get through there. Oh, R2 sticks his bits in there, but it's an electricity socket and he fries himself because he's stupid. Lando tells everybody to evacuate the city because the Empire's taking over. So all people are running about with their ice cream makers and stuff. Hang on, where is he? Where's the famous fellow with the ice cream maker? Here he comes. There he is. It's what they call it, a canton or something. I forgot what they call it. It's supposed to be information or it's a thing for carrying valuables about in, isn't it, or something? But it's an ice cream maker, isn't it? So lots of people cosplay as this fella, don't they? Right, so anyway, so they get to where the Falcon is, they're shooting them, and he gets in there. R2 says, oh, by the way, did you know about the hyperdrive on the Falcon? And he said, oh, shut up, we know all about the hyperdrive, because they think it's fixed. R2 uses his, I don't know, fire extinguisher, I don't know. Where's it coming from? From behind him, never mind. So off they go. I like some of these explosions on the underside of the Falcon. If I can land on one, for some reason I just rate like that. I'm gonna watch it again. Just cool. I just like stuff like that. I'm stupid, I know. Right, they get aboard the Falcon, take off, and there we go. Where are we? R2's dragging 3PO. Where is it? Where do I see him? There we go. R2's dragging 3PO on board. Anyway, off they go. Din, 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 din. Din, din, din. I bet I've got a copyright thing now. I'm trying not to, but I bet I have. Anyway. So they get away, but meanwhile Luke is still in the middle of his battle with Vader. There he is, so they're still fighting away, going out onto this platform. And Luke's not doing well, and gets his hand chopped off for good measure. Boom, there we go. This is right hand and all. So I hope Luke went right-handed. Probably because he was holding that in his right hand, wasn't he? So there we go. There's no escape. Join me and all that stuff. Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. And there you go. He said, no, I am your father. No, that's impossible. Obviously, the story is that in the script that were handed out to like Dave Prowse and all that and the others, I think only Mark Hamill and Irving Kirshner and George Lucas obviously knew what the line were going to be. But everybody else didn't. In the script, it says, what I forgot what he said now. They told you what happened to your father, and he says something like, I don't know, Obi-Wan killed your father, or something like that. But no, I said, I am your father. That's impossible. And so I'm thinking Robot Chicken again. And midichlorians. Oh, what is it now? I am your father. Leia is your sister. And midichlorians, they're just tiny creatures that live in your cells. Anyway, whatever. So, he says, join me and we will rule the galaxy together. So he says, no, we won't. I'm going to throw myself to me doom. And Darth Vader looks really fed up, doesn't he? When he drops down. There he goes. Ah! And he watches his hand. For Pete's sake, Luke. That's what he's thinking. Anyway, Luke falls. Does he make a noise in this one? So, the one I watched yesterday when I was watching the audio commentaries with the special edition, and he wasn't going because in some of them he's crying out, isn't it? Is he crying out in this one? No, he ain't. So I think in the original special edition, I think he cried out. They put him like going and then they took it out again, didn't they? Because George Lucas is an idiot sometimes, isn't he? To be completely honest. But anyway, he's not having a good day, Luke. He lands in there, so he thinks, I'm safe. But then that opens up. That opens up and he falls again. So I think, for crying out loud. So he falls through there. Don't know what that is that's just fallen down there. Is it his hand? But anyway, now he's dangling underneath Cloud City on somebody's TV aerial. Again in Robot Chicken. They're a thing, weren't they? Where somebody were looking at a new apartment in Cloud City. And they say, no, this is a nice apartment. And they say, what does this switch here do? And they say, I don't know. We never actually pressed it. And they press it. And then it opens that thing that Luke falls through. It lands on the TV aerial and say, no, I'm sorry about the TV reception. They're trying to watch TV and it's all good because Luke's on the aerial. Anyway, whatever. So there he is. He can't get back up because he's only got one hand, remember? And so he's like, oh no, Ben, please help me. But Ben's like, no, I'm not helping you. He doesn't even say, just ignores him, does Ben? He says, I won't help you. Not can't help you, I won't help you. So there. But he says, I think I'm getting all emotional. Luke says, calls out to Leia. Does he know Leia's his sister somehow? Don't know, even though they've had a good snog. Anyway, calls out to Leia. Why don't he call out to Chewie? Seems to have more of a bond with Chewie than he does with Leia, to be completely honest. But anyway. Luke, we've got to go back. Right, so we're going back for Luke. Meanwhile, I don't think, does he have a dialogue here?
Bring my shuttle.
Oh, that's all he says. That's all he says, look, bring my shuttle. In the special edition, it's prepare my Star Destroyer for my arrival, or whatever like that. Bring my shuttle enough. Anyway, right, so he's buggering off back to his Star Destroyer, isn't he? They're going to get Luke. There he is. Go under him, and hopefully he won't drop down and bounce off the top of the Millennium Falcon and slide to his doom. This is a model. This is a little model of the top of the Millennium Falcon, and what comes out is Lando Calrissian's G.I. Joe head, apparently. That's a G.I. Joe head. They made look like Lando Calrissian. Anyway, so they get Luke and head back out into space. There we go. They think the hyperdrive's being fixed, being chased by thingamabobs. There we go, TIE fighters. Get ready for light speed, but it's not working. Oh, they told me they fixed it. Oh, for crying out loud. Anyway, get the tractor beam ready. Prepare a boarding party. But R2 knows what's up because the city computer had told him. There you go, saying, you know better than to trust a strange computer. Meanwhile, Chewie's just getting electrical arcs for some reason and losing his temper. And for some reason they're headed straight for the Star Destroyer. Don't know why, but they are. Vader contacts Luke. Luke, father, because he just accepted it now. Ben, why didn't you tell me? Because he's a liar. basically, innit? And he murdered all those Jawas, and Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen, he burned them to death and all that stuff. We all know that. Well, I do. Right, so there we go. Fly casual, past there. They're getting ready to do the tractor beam, but luckily R2 fixes the hyperdrive, because it was just switched off apparently, and he just turns it back on, and off they go. Whee! Because, going to light speed. There must be some sort of inertial dampers, or they just turn to jelly, won't they? That acceleration. But anyway, off they go. I like the way they spin it, they spin the stars, to give it that extra sense of speed in it. Anyway, and Vader's like, they should have done like a wide shot of him and just of his shoulders going, whatever. And he just turns and marches out, and Admiral Piet's thinking, I'm doomed. But he ain't. He's fine. He didn't doomed until the second Death Star battle, is he? So anyway, and that's it. And then we cut to the Rebel fleet, wherever the Rebel fleet is. We heard it's massing near Solust, but are they there yet? Don't know. This is the medical frigate in it. There's a cargo transporter, and we see other ships as well. I don't know what there is. Obviously, Star Wars wasn't. We hadn't all the different ships that we know exist in the future. We haven't met them yet. This is only the second film, isn't it? But there's the Falcon docked with the medical frigate, some X-wings and all that stuff. We're going to see Luke's got his new one. Oh, aye, he's wearing Han's clothes. No capes. Thought he liked capes. He's just gone through Han's wardrobe and put some Han's clothes on. They're going to go looking for him. We'll meet you on Tatooine or something like that. I think that's what they say. Yeah, meet you on Tatooine. But first they've got to have a new hand put on. We'll find Han, I promise. And and Chewie goes, ah, and she smiles. There you go. Meanwhile, they're fixing his hand. Stabs it a few times to make sure he's got feeling in it. So he's got a robot hand, but he's got feeling in it. And there you see all his bits and bobs working inside there, because it's bionic, because he's Steve Austin. The $6 million man, not the bionic redneck. Anyway, so there we go. So, and then we're ending, and the Millennium Falcon flies away over that. Is that a galaxy? Is that supposed to be the Star Wars galaxy? And they're way out on the outskirts, or is it supposed to be, I don't know, a proto-star system? I don't know, with a disc, a planetary disc. I don't know, but anyway, so off they go, and they fly off. There we go, fly off over that. I'm going to say it's a star with a proto-planetary disc rather than it being a galaxy, because it's a bit small, isn't it? And off they go, and there we go. We pan out, and then it ends. There we go. Hang on, let's get it right. There we go. And there we go. And that's the end of Empire Strikes Back. Amazing film. It is an amazing film. As I said at the beginning, probably the best of the Star Wars films. Not my personal favourite. I still have a huge soft spot for the first one, Star Wars. But this one is probably the best. It is a really, really good film. A really, really good film. And if you haven't seen it, where the hell have you been? Michael Culver. I forgot to mention Captain Needa, Michael Culver. He were also in last week's Friday Night Appointment with Fear. He played a character called, I forgot, Mark. He was in the episode Charlie Boy of Hammer House of Horror. So we had two actors from Star Wars in different episodes, which is cool. Justin says, great movie, the best. Yes, it's probably the best of the entire saga. As I said, not my favourite, but the best. In my opinion. So there we go. And there's no end, no post-credit scene. But so there we go. That's the end of that. I said it's got everything on it. It's got an amazing battle at the beginning with the Imperial Walkers. It's got the asteroid field scene. It's got John Williams, amazing score. It's probably, I think on Monday I said, I think Phantom Menace might have been my favourite score of his, and I would obviously having some brain fart or something. Empire Strikes Back is the best score in my opinion. Too bad they've never made a sequel. No, they didn't. But it after this. If you're Robert Meyer Burnett, because he didn't like Return of the Jedi, did he? I think Return of the Jedi is amazing, but he didn't like it. But anyway, head rigger Red Lawrence. That's a cool name, isn't it? So I just saw that there. Red Lawrence. Red Lawrence signing in or whatever. Oh dear. Wonder if he were at in the Battle of Yavin. But anyway, right, so there we go. So we'll get rid of that. Right, so there we go. Yeah, an amazing flick. What was I saying? Oh, it's got everything, hasn't it? It's got battles on the ground. It's got space battles in the asteroid field and all that stuff, evading the Star Destroyers. It's got mystical force stuff with Luke being trained, although I think that's a low point in the film. If it didn't have that, or if that were a bit, more exciting or whatever, this might elevate it above Star Wars for me. But the Dagobah bits drag it down for me. But anyway, that's just me being a misery. And it's got all the Cloud City stuff. It is cool, and the bounty hunters. And all that. So there we go. Yeah, great stuff. Right, so we're done. We'll leave it there. So what's coming up next? Friday. It's Friday Night Appointment with Fear. We're on the next part of my Hammer House of Horror series, which is going to be The Silent Scream and Children of the Full Moon, which is the werewolf episode, which is cool. So... and I haven't decided what I'm doing next week for Magnificent Mondays. Have I? Hang on, let's have a look. What shall we do next week? You know what? Sod it. We're going to do, next Monday, we're going to do True Lies. Yay. James Cameron's True Lies. One of his best films, and it's one that he didn't write. But with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And Jamie Lee Curtis and others. So we're going to do that next Monday. Methinks. Right, so we will leave it there. So thanks, Win Grace and Justin34 for tuning in and keeping me company while I wax lyrical about The Empire Strikes Back. Oh, you notice I've got my Empire Strikes Back t-shirt on as well, by the way. Thought I'd mention that, in case you didn't notice. Right, we'll leave it there. Oh, I've got to check on Rumble, haven't I? No chats in Rumble, right. Because I buggered it up on Monday. Right, so we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching, and wherever you are, don't have nightmares from the wrong show. Wherever you are, not live long and prosper. Oh, I'm getting it all wrong. Never mind. May the force be with you. Oh, God, it's all going wrong. I'll see you.